You know what annoys me about the modern graphics pipeline in general? You have to jump too many hoops in order to draw a square on the screen. Here's a non-exhaustive list of what you have to do. You have to write a vertex shader and a fragment shader. Each one of these can have its own programming language. So we're not even 5 minutes in and you already have to learn a new programming language. Then you have to create these shaders at runtime, compile them, link them. After that, you have to create a vertex array, create a vertex buffer, add a vertex to the vertex buffer, specify a buffer layout that has to be the same that you specified on the shader, and then bind the vertex buffer to the vertex array. After that, we also have to create an index buffer, add our indices data to it, bind it to the vertex array. After that, deep down in your program, you can just tell it to use the shaders you've created, the vertex array you've created, and then you can draw a square. But that's not all of it. You have to clear the buffer before drawing anything, and after you draw, you have to swap the buffers. Because the way it works is that the GPU works with two buffers, one that is on the screen and one that is, well, not on the screen. And you're drawing on the one that were not on the screen, so after you finish drawing, you have to show it to the person using the computer. You have to worry about shaders, vertex array, vertex buffer, index buffer, buffer layout, and clearing and swapping the buffers. After that, you have to organize all data because you can have multiple shaders, you can have multiple vertices, you can have multiple indices sets, you can have multiple of everything, and they might change all the time. And all that while you might be working with more than one graphics API. And how do you do any of that? How does any software work? How does any game work? Yes, I'm making the render for my engine. How did you know? I've did it before, and yet every time that I want to do something, I have to watch like 37 videos, read 2 books, Google 28 times, and that's just life. I do that for every little thing I want to add to the render. But let's talk about what matters. Let's talk about how I did it.
Different. First of all, I want you guys to watch the previous episode. Hey, what's up, guys? My name is TheCherno. Welcome. Hey, what's up, guys? My name is TheCherno. Welcome. Hey, what's up, guys? My name is TheCherno. Welcome. Hey, what's up, guys? My name is TheCherno. Welcome. Hey, what's up, guys? My name is TheCherno. Welcome back to my channel. Hey, what's up, guys? My name is TheCherno.
I first introduced this huge mess on my application. This huge mess draws a square. Here's how programming works. First, we make it work, and then we clean it. So in this mess, every step of the process is here, but it's just ugly. So now you have to get the shader class and put it into its own class. Now you get the vertex buffer and the index buffer and put those in its own class. Now I get the vertex buffer and the vertex array and put those into its own class. All that while considering how all of that would work if I had multiple graphics APIs. And this is a journey that took weeks. And at the end of it, I have the same square. Shaders, colored squares, file, not a string, vertex data. That's 7 flows, Jerry. And it looks like this. It's never simple like that. We can create a vertex buffer like this, vertex array object like this. Speaking of index buffer, that's how you create one. A triangle. Imagine a really complex 3D model, like a cube. A renderer. Finally have the renderer. The renderer draws something on the screen. You know what would be nice? Textures. This is how you create a texture in OpenGL. I'm not gonna lie, I'm not totally clear what's happening here. Camera and transform. Anyway, matrices. It's a lot of matrices, and it's true. I know the next day I'll forget it. Are you telling me that you're just supposed to remember like all of these? And this is how you can draw something now. And if you think it's over, you're wrong. Batch rendering. Imagine that you're responsible for building a Lego structure. And the trick here is that when the game engine tells the renderer to draw something, it doesn't draw. We add this huge structure to the renderer. So when do we actually draw things? When we end a scene, we just draw. In a year, this probably will be totally different. That's how it draws squares on a computer.
Hey, what's up, guys? My name is TheCherno.